So welcome to the channel. And yes, I've been out and I've bought a new air rifle. I went to the National Shooting Show up at Harrogate, at the Harrogate Showgrounds last week. And I came away with a pistol and a rifle. The rifle I bought is a Stoeger. It's a nice rifle, I like it. It's effective at its price point. I want a rifle for shooting up a camp bob, just for plinking at reactive targets. And I didn't want to spend too much money. And it might get caught out in all weather, so I wanted a synthetic stock. And I had a look at the Stoegers. I was after a Gamo, but to be fair, none of the main manufacturers really were at the show. There was very little in the way of air guns or air rifles up at the show. So there you go. I ended up with the Stoeger because the Stoeger stand was there, and I got chatting to them, and it turned out that their rep is from Pickering. It's Pickering Air Guns, and I've bought from them before, so I trust them. So I tried one of the rifles out on their little range there, and I had a look at them, and I've ended up buying one of the rifles, and I came away with it, and it cost me £200. And for the price point, it's pretty good. Included in the price is a telescopic sight, which again is quite clear for its price, and it's the turrets are easy to adjust. A little bit too easy. You can't lock them in place, so they're easy to move, shall we say. I might have to put a couple of little dots of Tipex or something on its zoom point, just so I can easily see if I've knocked it out of zoom. Not zoom, Jesus Christ. Zero. I'm getting old. Yeah, you can knock them out of zero quite easily. So, but that's not the biggest problem. The only issue I had with the rifle was I don't like the trigger. Anyway, I shot some video last week when I was up at camp on the range. So have a look at that, and then we'll come back here. So I was at the shooting show yesterday. Finally got myself a Springer for bringing up the camp. That can't be right. Gonna have to check that. Looks like it's gone right through the middle. I don't believe that. Wish I'd taken the camera up with me. Yeah, it's gone right through the middle of the bull. I think more through luck than good judgment or skill, because skill is lacking. And I haven't fired Springers regularly for a long time, because I went on to PCPs. That's that one. One thing I don't like about this rifle, and it's so far it's the only thing I'm not keen on, and I might get used to it, is there's a long first stage on the trigger, and only the second stage is adjustable. I seem to be pulling this trigger for a long time. Second stage isn't too bad. It's not overly hard to pull the trigger. Just you have to pull it back such a long way. Maybe it just takes a bit of getting used to. I was thinking of changing the scope on this because it comes with the scope. I'll better tell you where. Bought this yesterday at the National Shooting Show, and I got it off the Stoeger stand. It turned out the Stoeger stand was being run by Pickering Air Rifles in Pickering, which is not too far from me. We go there quite regularly. And in fact, one of my last rifles, my Air Arms S400, I bought from them. And the rifle comes with a 1-year guarantee. Anyway, I was talking to the chap because it's in the show prices are the shop prices. Because I was going to call in the shop and buy one. And he says the rifles are the same rifles. They're out of his stock shop. They're out of the shop stock. So I bought it there and then. I had gone up there hoping to find somebody selling Gamos because I fancied one of the Gen 2 10-shot rifles, and turns out Pickering Air Rifles sells them as well. But the chap I was talking to yesterday confirmed what I'd heard from other sources, is that the magazines can be a bit fragile. Not through manufacturing defaults or defects. Not through any manufacturing defect. Just that apparently they're quite easy to fuck up through operator error. So the rifle I was after was about £330. It only comes with one magazine. Another magazine's getting on for £40, I think. So that was pushing it up to 370-ish for the rifle and a couple of magazines. And this rifle, as it stands, the rifle with the scope, it's 3 to 9 with parallax at the end. You can turn the big optic at the end and focus it at different ranges. Seems alright, it's bright enough. It seems to be shooting well, this rifle. And even though I'm inexperienced with springers these days, take me a while to get used to them again and work on my technique. But this rifle comes in at £199, or we'll call it £200, as you see it here, the rifle with the scope. In the box there's some different coloured furniture. As in, you can change that piece, and these little swells on the side. There's we've got different colour schemes in the box. You can get the blue or the orange, so these bits can be changed to either blue or orange. And those two pads can be taken out of stock to change the pull length. It seems alright the way it is for me. Apparently these rifles are designed by Beretta, but I think they're made in China. But at 30 metres, they're fairly consistent. I'm using Air Arms Fields 177. And I shoot 177 because I tend to range shoot. That's all I tend to do. I don't tend to hunt. and they're cheaper than 2 2s for a tin of 500. So if I'm generally these days only shoot up here at Camp Bob on our little air rifle range, so I didn't need anything too grand, too expensive. I just wanted something that can shoot out consistently to 30 metres, and I've got to say, thus far, I'm very pleased with my choice. I don't know how many pellets that was, but we'll go down and have a look. Let's have a little rifle range. I need to bring a strimmer up and cut the grass back. So I zeroed it yesterday and it was all over the place until I got it walked in. This morning it was shooting left when I first tried it, so I had to bring it back across to the right, and then I went a bit too far, but then got it on target, and there's my little group there when I was happy with it. And with the rifle still set to those final settings, let's see what we've got over here at 30 metres. We've got a mess. People have been shooting tin cans. Right then, that's what we've got at 30 metres. I'm a little bit right in this group, a little bit high, but I reckon that's down to me. That was my first shot right through the middle, more through luck than good judgment. But I can tighten that group up by improving my technique. So I'm going to go wander back down, put a new target out and see if I can tighten that group up a bit. But overall, this Stoeger, I think it's the RX20 Tactical. I think on this RX range there's about 3 rifles with slightly different stocks. But and this is the most expensive one at £200. I think the cheapest one of the 3 of this type was, don't hold me to this, I think it was about 170 or 180 pounds. No, the next one down was 20 quid cheaper, so that was 180, and then there was one below that which is either 10 or 20 pounds cheaper than that one. So for maybe 160, 170 pounds you can get yourself a decent little rifle for just plinking, I would say. Shooting at a range. I suppose you could do some pest controls. It is a sub 12 foot-pounds rifle. Depends what you want to do with it, but for up here, I can bring it up. I don't have to worry about it too much. Yeah, that's what I wanted for here, just a spring rifle. I got rid of my PCP simply because I wasn't using them. I wasn't bringing them up here because if I come up to Camp Bob, I'm generally staying over, which means I'm bringing my sleeping bag, my camping stuff, food, things like that. So dragging the rifle and the cylinder to top it up, I just wasn't doing it. I was just bringing my little BSA Springer, which is great for plinking, and I generally have a red dot sight on that for the kids to use, mainly because a lot of the smaller kids can't get a sight picture through an optic. So I'll put a little red dot on, and they don't even have to shut one eye. They can see the red dot and they can have a bit of fun with it. But it's not it's the XL, or what is it? BSA Lightning XL GRT. And it's a nice rifle, it's well put together, but it's only got a short barrel and it's not very consistent at range, so you get out at 30 metres and it's not that consistent. But the kids generally plink out to about 15 metres with it and don't have a problem. They're knocking down, I've got some metal reactive targets that they play with, and they can hit it on a regular basis. And out to 20 metres you can usually hit a metal target about pop can size, no problems whatsoever. And they're happy with that because they're hitting things. They're not shooting for groups, they're hitting for effect. No, they're shooting for effect, they just want to see things fall over. So the BSA is grand for that, but I wanted something that could reach out to 30 and be a bit more consistent and not break the bank. and I didn't have to worry about it getting wet and not getting properly cleaned until I get home a couple of days later, things like that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this Stoeger. The cheek piece is adjustable as well. You can raise and lower the cheek. It's lowest now, but you can raise it up. And I think I'm quite happy with the pull. But we will see as we go on. Right, I'm going to go put this target out now. Have another plink. Also in the box, you get a couple of short sections of Picatinny rail, which mount up here on the stock. And you can get a couple of bipod legs that are attached to them if you want a bipod. I'll probably fit the Picatinny rails simply so I don't lose them. Yeah, I mean, if I'd have been looking for a rifle for a teenager, first rifle at the show yesterday, you could have walked away with a complete kit. The gun for 200, he had a gun slip there for £20, another tenner for a tin of pellets. So for £230 you could have walked away with a complete kit to get you started. And it's not a bad rifle, to be perfectly honest. I'm quite pleased with it. As I say, I believe they're designed by Beretta and made in China. But then again, a lot of things are made in China these days. So that was me zeroing the rifle and having a play with it. I fired it on Saturday. I stayed over and had a good shoot on the Sunday as well with it. So I do like it. I do like it, but I don't like the trigger. It's got a very long pull on the trigger. You seem to need to take a twopenny bus ride, you know, from one end of that trigger pull to the other. Don't like it at all. So I had a look on the YouTube, as you do, for any videos from anyone that had ever worked or adjusted a Stoeger trigger. I'm not sure if it's Stoeger or Stoeger, but I'm going to go with Stoeger for now. Anyhow, I digress. I had a look and I came across a chap who inserted a small bearing into the trigger assembly to shorten that first stage, because it goes back forever. So that's what I'm going to do. I've been and ordered, based on his video, 3 little bearings to try. They're all slightly different sizes. From what I could see on his video, the trigger has a bar through it, and it's 5mm in diameter, and that's the thing that moves up and against the sear of the trigger. So the wider that diameter, the less it's got to move, if you understand me. That's my thinking behind it. So I've got some different same internal diameter, different outside diameters, and I'm going to give them a try. So the first thing to do is get the rifle and take the stock off. So I'll do that. Right, the tools I'm going to need to take the stock off: a 4mm hex key for the 2 front ones. Now these 2 screws hold on a little bit of Picatinny rail on both sides, but I haven't fitted them yet. I was in no rush. So we've got a hex key this side, and there's one on the other side, you know, on the same place in the barrel. Right, let's bring this over. Magnetic tray. I have a tendency to drop screws. Turn it over and undo the second hex screw. This is a 4mm hex on it. Now, through there, through the trigger guard, is a Phillips screw head. It's not a posi drive, it's a Phillips. Don't know why they couldn't have another hex key, but there you go. That's out now, so we'll take that out. And the stock should come away, and it does easily. That's the first look at the inside of the stock. Right. Anyway, we'll put that to one side. It's not the bit we're interested in. It's this bit, and it's held on by a spring clip there. That is the bit that we're interested in taking off, I think. Let's have a look at the other side. Need to take that. Yeah, need to take that little spring clip off. Try. So need to just gently pop that off. Put it over there. Now, I don't know why I'm taking that off actually, it's the wrong one. It's that one I need to take off. I think we'll put that back on. Come on. Should have brought some pliers with me. There you go, do the job right. Alrighty. It's that one. And there you go. And that's the pin we want out. And that. Don't think we need that anymore. Take them out. Right. So that lives in there, and that's the bit. Right. There. Put this in the middle. This, that roller, it's not a roller, it's a solid pin, but that part does roll, and it slides up when you pull the trigger up there and pushes against the actual trigger mechanism operating the trigger. But it's got a long way to go before it engages the second stage, or the sear. And that's the bit we want to shorten. So the idea is, we'll start with the biggest, I think, and if it works, it works. Scissors. That is our little bearing. And this should fit in there. doesn't fit. Okay, that was the original bearing I was trying to fit, and I've had the calipers on the inside. And the inside is 4.5mm, and the pin is actually 5mm. But I've got one of the slightly smaller diameter bearings. It's an 8mm external diameter instead of a 9. But that one is, I've already fitted it because it was a snug fit, but it is a 5mm fit in the middle. So that's gone together now. Now that sits back in there, and it's increased the diameter of that wee pin, which should reduce the length of that first bit of the trigger. There we go. A little bit of wiggling to get the pin in. And I'll get the split pin on, but I don't think I'm going to get my pliers in there. There we go, it's on. Bit of struggling. Oh yeah, that's a bit. That's a wee bit shorter. It's a pity about that one though. Right, just to wrap this up, I suppose. Well, I won't. I've changed the bearing, or I've put the bearing in. I couldn't get the original 9mm outside diameter bearing in because the internal diameter was only 4.5mm, and it should have been 5. However, I put the smaller 8mm external diameter bearing in, and it is absolutely brilliant. It has made such a vast difference. However, I've only tested it with 3 shots fired into the ground in the garden. I didn't film it because it's not really a fair test. I cocked it. It did engage properly. Put a pellet in it, took it into the garden. With the safety on, I bashed the side of the rifle, bashed the buttstock, see if it would jump and fire, and it didn't. I disengaged the safety, did it again, and then tried the trigger. It is much crisper, much lighter, very short pull on it now. I like it a lot. I did that 3 times, each time testing it by tapping it, and I'm happy with it. However, I'm going to take it up to camp, to the rifle range there, and do some proper testing with it. I'll film that, and then I'll come back here and finish off this video. But for now, I've just fitted a new, or I haven't fitted a new trigger at all. I've installed a small roller bearing, ball bearing, into the trigger mechanism to shorten this first stage here. I don't know if that's the first or the second stage, but when you first pull the trigger, that was a huge amount of movement on that trigger, and that has really reduced it. Over the moon with that, because that's the only thing about this rifle I didn't like, and that was the trigger. But let's take it up the range, test it properly, and then I might close the video out up there. But there you go, back to the range.
Thanks for watching Old Man in a Shed.
Things have changed. I won't be able to get out to the range for a bit, so I'll upload this video as is and then report back later on after I test the rifle. Bye.